Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back, guys. Justin here. As always, thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me today to talk about Talk to Me. I got my latest issue of Fangoria here. Great little article and interview with a couple of the stars and the directors of Talk to Me. I'm a big fan of Fangoria, and I thought I'd mention it since it made the cover. Really gnarly cover there. I always love reading my Fangoria magazines, but let's go ahead and talk about Talk to Me, the latest horror genre film from A24. This movie is the directorial debut of brothers Danny and Michael Philippou. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I don't know why I'm saying I'm sorry. It's not like they're gonna watch this video. These brothers hail from a little town in Australia called Adelaide, where they have a very popular YouTube channel called Raka Raka, where for the past few years they've posted their comedy horror short films. And they're also makeup and special effects artists. They kind of cut their teeth on these short films on YouTube, built up their talents leading up to the production and direction of Talk to Me. This movie was produced by Causeway Films, the same production company that did The Babadook, and it was picked up after a big bidding war at Sundance. It was picked up by A24 for distribution, and now we have it in theaters in July. Now, when it comes to me, if anybody's been watching the channel for a while, I am an A24 mark. I'm proud to say it. I don't watch every single one of A24's films, but if it's A24 and it's a genre film or even hints at a little bit of genre, I'm all over it. I'm just such a mark. I'm such an A24 fanboy. But in all honesty, after seeing this trailer, I wasn't all the way convinced. It looked good, but it was giving Blumhouse vibes to me. Now, I don't blanket hate Blumhouse, but I think they throw a lot of shit at the walls. So many movies being that they deal with lower budget movies, and a lot of them are hit or miss for me. I don't know why I'm talking about Blumhouse now. It's just, I guess I'm just describing the feeling I got while watching this initial trailer. Although it looked interesting, it looked unique, it still looked a little commercial and didn't look like it was gonna kind of push the limits, at least for my taste in films. But after seeing it, this movie definitely goes for it, guys. This movie is really, really good. Across the board, from the cinematography to the effects to especially the performances that I'll talk a lot about here in a minute, this movie really took me back. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie and how original and fresh it felt. Although all the ideas and concepts, some things aren't wholly original. It's just hard to make a completely original film. But cherry-picking aspects of supernatural, ghost, possession movies, and a couple really good jump scares in there. This really made for a great overall horror experience that feels set apart and it feels elevated from a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies that we get, especially in the middle of the summer like this. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what this movie's about. In essence, this is a ghost possession movie, but done with a little bit of a twist. This movie centers on a group of friends and kind of laser focuses on three of these in particular. You have Mia and her best friend and brother and their mom that has sort of took Mia in as their surrogate daughter. Mia's dealing with a lot. She's lost her mom. Her mom passed away, but we don't know all the details of that, but she's really dealing with a lot of that struggle. You know, a lot of horror movies will focus on the horror mainly and give you just enough emotional stuff to kind of make you care about the characters. And to me, when I see a lot of these movies, a lot of the emotional stuff, a lot of the drama, I'm pretty indifferent about. It usually doesn't affect me, but this movie does a fantastic job of genuinely making you care about these characters. The chemistry of these three central characters, Mia, her best friend, and her best friend's brother, I really believe that these guys were friends. The chemistry between all of these was great, and it's a nice slow burn at the beginning that lets you get to know these characters, get to know their relationships, and it really worked. The performances are fantastic, especially Mia. She's kind of the main character of this movie, and she's an amazing actress. She is truly, truly great. She really sells the emotional stuff, and she definitely sells the horror aspect. So let's go ahead and get into what this movie is about. The movie gets this title from this sort of ceremony that happens multiple times throughout this movie that's been kind of a social media boosting thing for all of these teens. This group of teens somehow got a hold of this hand, and this hand gives the power to see the dead or to see spirits in purgatory and even invite them inside you, sort of invoke their soul inside of you to where it possesses you, but you can only do it for 90 seconds. There's got to be arbitrary rules to movies like this to give it drama, and it works. So you shake this hand, you say, "Talk to me," and a spirit appears, and then you can then invite them in. You invite them in to sort of possess you for a certain amount of time, and everybody's got their phones out and posting it to social media, and it's becoming sort of a viral thing. Although there isn't any overt messaging or morality lessons that these filmmakers are handing down, they do take an interesting look into the disconnect between like real life and social media. These kids are filming filming these weird possessions, this really crazy supernatural shit, and they have their phone up and they're laughing, and there's a complete disconnect between the reality of what's actually happening and their phone. It's like a veil is in front of them, and that's kind of how we are in society. We all see videos every day of people just filming somebody get the shit beat out of them, or filming a gnarly car accident. There's this rubbernecking kind of mentality that we have in 2023 in modern days with social media, and it's interesting to kind of point out that disconnect that we have between the real world and social media. So I thought it was interesting that they kind of explored that with Talk to Me. Another great thing that I liked about this movie is oftentimes when you have social media built in to a movie, it sort of feels corny or cheesy or forced, at least it does to me, but this felt really real. It didn't show like a bunch of cheesy social media TikTok style vertical phone stuff. You can just see everybody the minute they touch this hand, everybody has their phones up and you know it's going out on the internet, and it is a cool aspect of the movie. But of course, in all these movies, if you don't follow the rules, bad shit happens, and there is a crazy scene where they let one particular character be possessed by this person for more than 90 seconds, and that just sends the shit directly into the fan, and that's where the movie pops off. This movie is genuinely creepy. There's more than enough what the f moments that happen in this movie. Sometimes the movie does feel like I wanted some more of those horror elements, but the horror elements that we do get are quite effective, and the makeup effects of these spirits that people see are fantastic. It's really, really great, the effects work that they did for Talk to Me. Although I love this movie and I highly recommend it, it's not perfect. The ending may not be satisfying for some people. It is an A24 movie. They tend to pick movies that feel a little bit kind of choose your own adventure, or at least like ambiguous, and this movie does have a little bit of ambiguity to it that may be that may leave some feeling unsatisfied in the end. That may be an issue. For me, it wasn't. Although I did want a more impactful ending that sort of like shook me a little bit more, it was still effective and it tied up the story in a good way. There's a couple of loose ends, a couple of mild plot holes, but nothing to get like your panties in a bunch about. The movie is highly entertaining, and it's a really effective supernatural ghost story with a little bit of gore, a little bit of blood, great makeup effects, but overall, I think even though it lacked a little bit of the scarier moments that I wanted more of, the actual chemistry between the characters and the central performances were more than enough to make this a great, entertaining watch. I didn't feel like it was slow. It ran by pretty quick, and I had a great time with it. If you guys have seen Talk to Me, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. I want you guys to sound off. I want to know what you guys think of Talk to Me. But guys, I think we're done here. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.